I took a full-time job at 16 to help pay for my family's expenses while my parents spent everything on my brother's athletic dreams. 20 years later, I discovered they knew he would never make it professional. They knew. And they let me sacrifice my education anyway. I still remember the day I dropped out of honors classes to take a job at the grocery store. I was 16 years old. My parents sat me down at the kitchen table and explained that the family was struggling. Bills were piling up. My brother had been accepted into an elite athletic program that would cost thousands a month. Private coaches, travel teams, competition fees. My father had lost overtime hours at work. My mother's teaching salary alone couldn't cover everything. They looked at me with such pride when they asked if I could help. "You're so mature for your age," my mother said. "We know we can count on you." My father nodded. "Your brother has real potential. This could change his life. But we need you to understand what that means for our family right now." I didn't hesitate. I loved my brother. He was good at baseball. Really good. Scouts had been watching him since middle school. College coaches were already interested. And my parents, they believed in him so completely. So I said yes. I dropped the honors track and picked up a job. I worked after school most days, on weekends, sometimes before school too. I made decent money for a teenager, and I handed most of it over to my parents. I watched my grades slip from A's to B's. I missed school events, college prep clubs, debate team competitions. My friends went to parties and studied abroad in the summers. I worked. But I told myself it was worth it. My brother was going to be a professional baseball player. He was going to make it big. And I was going to be the sibling who made that possible. How could I not be proud of that? My parents certainly made me feel proud. They constantly thanked me. They told extended family about my sacrifice. They said I was the responsible one, the mature one, the one who understood what family meant. At dinners, my father would put his arm around me and say, "This kid right here, this kid gets it." My brother got scholarships to showcases. He traveled to tournaments across 3 states. Private pitching coaches, strength trainers, sports psychologists. My parents paid for all of it, and I worked to help them pay for it, and I was happy to do it. Or, I thought I was happy. When I was 17, something shifted. I noticed a conversation between my parents one night when they thought I was asleep. They were in the kitchen, and my father was on the phone with someone. A coach. Someone in the baseball world. "I understand," my father was saying. "I hear you. But he's got time. He's only 17. There was a pause. My father's voice changed. It got quieter. "No, I know what you're saying. I know." He hung up after that. I heard him and my mother talking in low voices. I couldn't make out the words, but I heard my mother say something like, "Maybe we should tell him." And my father said, "Not yet. Not until we're sure." I never asked them about that conversation. I don't know why. Maybe I didn't want to know. Maybe I already knew somewhere deep down that something wasn't right. But I kept working. My brother made it to his senior year of high school. He was still good. Really good. But something had changed. The scouts stopped coming to games. The college coaches' calls became less frequent. My brother's attitude shifted too. He seemed frustrated. Angry sometimes. He'd come home from practice and wouldn't talk about it. My parents kept paying for everything. More coaches, more private training, more tournaments. As if throwing more money at the problem would fix whatever was wrong. I was 18 years old, working full-time while finishing high school. I'd fallen so far behind my peers. My friends were getting college acceptance letters. I hadn't even applied. I was too busy working. When I finally told my parents I wanted to go to college, my mother cried. "Of course you should go to college," she said. "You're so smart. You could get a scholarship. Or we could maybe help you once your brother finishes with his program. but we both knew that wasn't going to happen. My brother finished high school that year. He didn't get drafted. He didn't get offered any college scholarships. He got accepted to a mid-tier university on a partial athletic scholarship that covered about half his tuition. My parents were devastated, but they acted like it was still a victory. I applied to colleges that year. I got into a good state school, but without scholarships, the tuition was expensive. I looked at my parents, waiting for them to help the way they'd helped my brother for all those years. They couldn't. The money was gone. I went to community college instead. I worked full-time and went to school part-time. It took me 6 years to get a bachelor's degree. My brother finished his in 4 years at the university my parents had funded. I didn't think too much about it for a long time. Life moved on. I built a career from my community college degree. It was harder than it would have been with a traditional 4-year experience, but I made it work. My brother graduated, tried to pursue baseball professionally for a while, then transitioned into a regular job. He works in sales now, makes decent money. And then about 2 years ago, I ran into our old baseball coach at a coffee shop. We talked for a few minutes, and he said something that made me pause. "It's too bad about your brother, you know," he said. He had real potential early on, but by his junior year of high school, it was pretty clear he wasn't going to have a professional career. The athleticism plateaued. The mechanics were off. He just didn't have what it takes at that level. I felt my chest tighten. "What do you mean, by his junior year?" I asked. My parents were paying for coaches and programs all the way through senior year. Were they not helping? The coach looked confused. They were paying for everything, and I tried to tell them honestly, by the time he was 16 or 17, that he probably wasn't going to make it professionally. College maybe, but not the pros. Your parents, they didn't want to hear it. He paused. They kept saying, "He just needs better coaching," or "He'll get there." But the truth is, not every kid who's good at baseball can go pro. Most can't. Your brother was good, but he wasn't that good. I didn't say anything. I couldn't. That night, I called my brother. "When did Mom and Dad know you wouldn't make it professionally?" I asked him. There was a long silence on the other end of the line. "I don't know," he finally said. I think they knew by the time I was 16 or 17, but they wouldn't admit it. Every time a coach tried to tell them they'd find a new program, a new trainer, a new opportunity. He stopped. They just kept going. "Why didn't you tell them to stop?" I asked. "Why didn't you say you didn't want to keep doing it?" "Because," my brother said quietly, "I thought if I quit, it meant I was giving up. And I thought if I quit, all the sacrifice everyone was making wouldn't mean anything." I confronted my parents after that. I asked them directly, did they know my brother wouldn't make it professionally? My mother started crying immediately. My father looked away. "We had hope," my mother said. "We thought if we just gave him the right opportunities, the right coaching." "Did the coaches tell you?" I pressed. "Did they tell you he wasn't going to make it?" My father nodded slowly. "Yes, they did. When he was 16. I felt something break inside me. "So you knew," I said. "You knew. And you kept paying for it anyway. And you kept letting me work. You kept letting me sacrifice my education, my time, my future, for a dream that you already knew wouldn't happen." My father tried to explain. He said they didn't want to give up on my brother, that they thought maybe the coaches were wrong, that they believed in him, that they were afraid if they admitted it was over, they'd be failing him as parents. "But what about me?" I asked. "What about my future? Did you believe in me too? Or did I just have to sacrifice mine so you could chase his impossible dream?" They didn't have a good answer. I'm still processing this betrayal, if I'm honest. I love my parents. I know they're not bad people. They were trying their best, even if their best was fundamentally unfair to me. But that doesn't change the fact that my childhood and my educational opportunities were sacrificed for a dream my parents knew was impossible. My brother and I have talked about it. He's angry too. He says their constant investment in his baseball career made him feel like his worth was tied to his athletic performance. When it became clear he wouldn't go professional, he felt worthless. He spent years in his 20s depressed and ashamed, even though he'd done nothing wrong. My parents' belief in his impossible dream didn't help him. It hurt us both. The hardest part is understanding what it means for a family when the people who are supposed to protect you and guide you make choices that serve their own emotional needs instead of yours. My parents needed to believe my brother could make it professionally. That belief made them feel like good parents, like they were giving their child a real shot at something extraordinary, and they were willing to sacrifice their other child to maintain that belief. I'm 34 years old now. I've built a decent life for myself. But I wonder sometimes what my life could have looked like if I'd gone to a 4-year university straight out of high school. What doors would have opened that didn't because I was too busy working? I'll never know. And that's the betrayal that still stings. Not malicious betrayal, not intentional cruelty, but betrayal nonetheless. The betrayal of being sacrificed so your parents could chase a dream they didn't even believe in. Like, share, and subscribe for more stories, and drop a comment in the comment section.